In previous videos, we have done keeping track of FCS schools and all the one-star schools, and I wanted to try something a little bit different with this type of video because previously we had tried it with everyone kind of on the same footing, one-star, FCS school with the cupcake rosters. Everyone was on equal footing, but I thought, what if we do something where we throw every Division I Florida team I could find into the same conference, some in the FBS, some not in the FBS, everyone's starting at different points, and let's see what all of these Florida schools can do if we gave them 15 years all in the same conference together. You got your usual suspects, the top dogs of college football like Miami, you got Florida, even though Florida State's getting clowned on a little bit, they're still a pretty good school in the game. UCF has had success, and then you have your mid-tier schools, your USF, FAU, Florida International, but we also have three schools coming up, Stetson, Bethune-Cookman, and Florida A&M. We're going to see how it all plays out, and we have a 15-year battle to see who can dominate the state of Florida, and after the first season, we expect Florida, Miami, Florida State to kind of be at top, while these other schools are kind of down there at the bottom, but the hope is that we kind of push everyone up on the same level and see who really emerges over the next couple of seasons. As per usual with these videos, if there's action worth watching, we will be seeing it, and in these big matchups, we will be hopping in, but in a game like that, Miami dominated Florida. They take home the conference. UCF did sneak into the playoffs as a at-large bid, and they are going to get ran off the field by Ohio State. So, I mean, a quick little in-and-out postseason run for UCF, but we focus back on Miami, who won the conference, had a first-round bye, and here they are against Kansas State, and it is a 24-24 game. There's going to be a lot of gameplay because with this conference, basically every year there's going to be a playoff representative because this is going to be a pretty strong conference, in the state of Florida with a couple established programs. So this is a new Power 5, and Miami trying to kick things off with a national championship victory as it's going to be an interception. Cam Ward taking over, and he throws an interception right back, and Kansas State takes it the other way, has a touchdown, and Kansas State up by 7. And no, I am not going to be showing you a replay. He did the same exact thing. Cam Ward throws a pick 6, and Miami's going to lose this one. They make it to a first-round bye in the playoffs, but unfortunately are not able to take home a victory, though it still was a season 1 where we seen a couple of our schools get that double-digit win season. Everything matters because at the end of this video, we're going to be having the tally and the final results to see who really won the state of Florida in these 15 years. Things like this, who you send to the NFL is going to matter. How quality of the players are you putting out? What kind of recruiting classes are you getting? Bowl wins, playoff appearances, overall victories, conference titles. This is going to be also a video where everyone's sticking in the same conference the entire time. We're not moving anybody. This is a Florida conference only, and as you can see, the recruiting is going to be pretty sporadic. Obviously, the bottom 3 is going to be those FCS teams now moving up, but it's going to be interesting to see. Conference prestige is going to be a pretty valid pitch, and you got Miami carrying it. USF did a pretty good job, though it was UCF making the conference championship, and Miami took care of them pretty easily, but we have 2 playoff representatives, and Miami gets another first-round bye. But let's take a peek at USF, who is doing pretty nice to start things off. 2 straight really nice seasons, and now they find themselves in the playoffs, picking off Oregon. They're down by 8, but this interception's going to help them as they try to run him down, but he's going to get inside the 20, and USF set up to potentially tie this game with a few minutes to play. Drop him back to throw. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They're going to get it all the way down to the 1-yard line. Goal to go, and they just need one play to punch it in, and on the first try, they're going to just get it. He took a shot, but it helped them into the end zone. Now the 2-point conversion, pretty heavy formation, handing it off, untouched in, and he's going to get the 2. It's a tie game, 2 minutes to play. Oregon has a short pass broken up on 3rd down. Now it's USF's turn on 3rd down. Can they convert? Needing a drive here to try to get a game-winning field goal. He just barely gets that ball away, saves them a decent amount of yards. Oregon, though, 1st down and 10. It is midfield throwing. That's going to be caught. Big gain. And now they're in field goal range with a minute and a half to play. 21-yard line, 2nd down, sweeping it. And he's going to cut up the middle for a 1st down inside the 10. Goal to go. though. We skip ahead, third down, another sweep, and the running back has it inside the 5, brought down though. Still, it's going to be a chip shot field goal with little time to go. Kick is no good. He missed the chip shot field goal, and we're heading to overtime. Oregon can't believe it. They get the ball, and they throw an interception. USF takes over. How has that happened? Now just needing a field goal, they set their crew up, and they nail their chip shot, and USF has stunned Oregon in the playoffs, and we're already off to a hot start. A team getting a playoff win. USF, though, unfortunately, cannot get the job done over Clemson. You know, maybe a little bit of a miracle run came to an end there, but still great progress for this school to come out here and get a playoff victory. Miami, they take care of business very easily over Wisconsin, and we are going to see a Miami versus Clemson matchup. Can Clemson take down both the Florida schools? Well, right now, it's an 8-point game, and throwing an interception, and Clemson takes it back. Miami, now they're in a desperate situation. It's third down and 11, though they can get off the field here, but throwing down the sideline, that's going to be caught, and on the run, can they catch him? Yes, they can, inside the red zone, but Clemson set up to take a 2-score lead, throwing over the middle, caught for the touchdown, and Clemson is going to potentially put this game away. Miami trying to get something going, and they get it going the other way. Pick 6. Clemson takes it home, and they knocked off both of our Florida playoff representatives, and that's unfortunate, but Clemson's going to go all the way to win the national championship, so that's going to be good for them. Not so good for what we have going on here. Florida State already, they're stinking it up. They're already behind 2 of the FCS schools, so this game might be a little realistic with how bad they're playing, but we've had Miami 2 straight playoff appearances. Can they keep that going? And they're going to be sending a lot of players to the NFL, but we are going to be keeping track of a lot of this stuff, and I want to see if some of these Florida schools, with the fact that they are from Florida, have great conference prestige, are in, you know, a very ideal spot to potentially win a conference championship and make a playoffs. Do some of these schools' recruiting classes start picking it up? We see Stetson, you know, they did a lot better relative to the other 2 schools. USF is doing some great work right now. I mean, 8-4 isn't anything crazy, but when you take a look at their schedule, I mean, they had a loss to Alabama. They had some other losses to some pretty quality schools, and they almost completely swept their conference. So we're going to see if USF can get into the playoffs. They're going to get the victory here. Pretty easy one over Florida, and the Bulls are going to be playoff bound once again, and they're the real surprise so far. And not only that, look at that, a Heisman winning quarterback, 30 touchdowns, 0 picks, Byron Brown. They're going to get a first round bye. No Miami, nobody else. It is just USF. They are going to be taking on Texas A&M, who made the national championship last year, couldn't get it done, and USF here in a tie game is going to not be able to get the first down. They are turning the football back to the Texas A&M offense, and it is Connor Wegman still quarterbacking this team, and Texas A&M fans, look away. Connor Wegman probably still having nightmares about that Notre Dame game in real life, but they still think he's going to be pretty good in the game, and it's going to be a fumble here. They get the stop, turn it back to the offense, who fumbles it immediately. Not an interception, though, at least for the quarterback, so his perfect record is still clean. Wegman to throw it, hit as he's thrown, and that looked a lot like it did in real life against Notre Dame. Intercepted, and it's going to be back to USF, who's got the ball in great field position. Third down, couple minutes to play, throwing outside, that's going to be caught, and the Heisman winning quarterback Brown is going to move them inside the 20 at the 11-yard line. Third down, draw play, it's going to go nowhere, and the field goal try with 2 minutes to play is going to be up and good, and it's up to Wegman to lead a game-winning drive. What has he got here? Wegman to throw it, it's immediately intercepted. This game is very realistic. Connor Wegman throws the game away, and it's going to be USF moving on to face Alabama, and against Alabama, they're up by 6 here in the 4th quarter, so it's going to be up to the defense to see if they can hold this lead. Holding Alabama to 14 points is pretty incredible, but can they keep it up? Play action, it's going to be a throw underneath, that's going to be caught. He gets a block, and he's going to turn upfield for 20 yards, and Alabama moving the football, trying to at least just hold to a field goal maybe, and they're not going to allow any points. It's going to be an interception, and can he take it back the other way? He just gets brought out, but it's going to be the offense set up in great position. Can they chew this clock? Can they get it to a 2-score game? Under 5 to play, check down is caught, and it's not going to result in anything. They punt the football away. Alabama back, and that's going to be a diving grab in first down yardage inside the 30-yard line. Alabama moving it. They're going to throw over the middle. Wide open, man. And now it's goal to go as USF threatening to allow Alabama to take the lead. Rolling, and he's going to roll right into a sack. It's 4th down and goal, and Alabama opting to go for it. They need to have the touchdown, and they do. It's going to be end zone for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and they're going to have a 1-point lead now, and they turn it back to Brown, who throws on the outside, caught. First down conversion, under 2 minutes to play. You just need to get into field goal range. What do you got for us? And he's got an interception. That's his first of the season, and his first interception of the season for the Heisman winner is going to be an Alabama pick six, and that is exactly when you don't want to have your first interception come. And now he's got to have to lead a touchdown and 2-point conversion drive. He's still got an opportunity here, but he's going to throw over the middle, and that's going to be intercepted again. How does he throw no interceptions all year, and then in the biggest moment he throws back-to-back interceptions that go all the way for pick sixes, and Alabama is gonna win it, and USF is heartbroken by that one. They are let down by their Heisman winner. Despite the unfortunate ending, I mean, maybe there's a new powerhouse emerging in the state of Florida if USF can continue what they have been able to do these first couple of seasons. We have them, Florida, Miami, maybe Florida State could figure some things out. One of these other schools can surprise us. I think it'd be pretty crazy if we would go through this, and this is going to be one of the stronger conferences, and it'd just be wild if, like, no one in these 15 years won a national championship. I mean, would a national championship for one of these schools give them the crown of winning Florida? Maybe, but we got to see what they do in their whole body of work. You see Stetson getting some nice classes, whereas Florida A&M and, you know, Bethune are not. And this is going to be big for Florida. They lost DJ Lagway. That's brutal. And Texas Tech now, he got a Heisman with them, and they're going to the playoffs. Florida, they did finish at the top of the conference, so pretty good for them, but unfortunately it's not going to really matter all that much. Florida wasn't even able to win the conference championship. I accidentally simmed past it, but, you know, inconsequential overall, as it wasn't going to result in anyone making the playoffs, because the teams just didn't have, like, these dominant seasons. That's another thing, is maybe some of these teams are just going to be so close that you see a bunch of 7, 8, maybe 9 win teams, and they're going to struggle to make the playoffs because no one's going to be able to separate themselves. So, you know, Florida, Miami, you expect them to get in the mix, but I don't know about the rest of these schools. USF was pretty nice, but they weren't able to get back to the playoffs this year. They're getting some decent recruiting classes, but as you can see here, Stetson is going to be number 4 in the country already. I don't know how they're number 4. They just lost to Army. I don't know. They lost to Army and they didn't move. That doesn't make sense to me, but sure, they're in the conference championship here, and they're against USF, and on their first play, they throw a lateral, and it's going to be a fumble picked up and ran ahead for a first down. This Stetson offense, what I had noticed, is they are a triple option Army-Navy type of offense, and I don't know, I've never even heard of the Stetson Hatters beforehand, so you could tell me if there's any Stetson Hatter fans out there, you know, what this team is all about. I don't know if this is actually what they do, but it is crazy. We see interceptions back and forth. It is a 7-9 low-scoring game. They are out here, you know, running full-back dives here on 2nd down and 5. This is some prime, grinded-out offense, 3rd down and 13, and we're running inside dive plays. It is 4th down, field goal on the way, and it is hitting the post, but it is good, and Stetson could punch their ticket to a playoff appearance, but not if they do that and allow a big play, and he's on the run all the way for the touchdown, and USF in this offensive struggle of a game has a touchdown. It's a 7-point game after the 2-point conversion, and Stetson's got their quarterback breaking a tackle and running ahead for the first down. 2.5 minutes to play now, under 2. It's 4th down and 6. We jump ahead, and clean pocket. They're throwing. That's going to be caught. Broken tackle. He stays on his feet. Inside the 10, inside the 5, goal to go. And it's a great effort there to break the tackle and get more yards. Now it's 3rd and goal. They're throwing, end zone, and it's going to be intercepted. And that's going to be USF taking the football and taking the victory. And unfortunately for this really interesting team, the Hatters, I mean, you know, you see all these schools being generic, you know, team logos and mascots. We have a bunch of teams called like the Tigers or the Eagles or whatever, and this team is the Hatters, and they literally have a hat in their logo. I don't know this team, but they are really cool. And then we have USF in the playoffs. We should probably be paying attention to them. They are up against Virginia. They are up by 3. 2-minute situation. The 2-minute warning has hit here, and now Virginia trying to get into that end zone. They are outside of field goal range. Now they're definitely in field goal range, but as we've seen with that Oregon kicker, no field goal is a gimme in this situation. It is 3rd down and a sack here, knocking them back to the 30. They will try it from 46 yards. The kick is good. USF lets the clock tick to overtime, and now it is 27-27. Big situation, quick throw inside the 5, and they're already one play in a goal-to-go situation. Now direct snap out a Wildcat, and it's a touchdown for USF. And now Virginia's got to respond. They have the football, 2nd down and 3, and they got a touchdown. So we're going to double overtime now, and it's going to be Virginia taking the football, 3rd down, and they're going to throw it. And it's got a clean pocket, throwing intercepted, and taking it back the other way. And he's got offensive lineman to beat. Can he outrun the receiver? Yes, he can. He is creating separation, and he's going all the way for a game-winning pick 6 in overtime. And USF is going to the next round against Penn State, where they have a low-scoring game. It is 16-7, and it is 3rd down, a fumble here, and they're going to pick it up, but they're going to punt the football away. They trusted their defense, and the defense is going to reward them with another opportunity as USF has to punt it away. It's not a great punt. They set them up in great field position. Penn State needing a touchdown to tie this game up, and they get it immediately in the end zone, and it's going to be a tie game. USF has played some offensive struggles in these games that we have hopped in. No game going over 30 points for either side, and now it's going to be a big situation here with 3rd down. They can run the clock out, and they can try to kick a game-winning field goal, but they're heading for the end zone here on 1st and goal. Will they get it in? Yes, they will. That's going to be a touchdown, and instead of just sitting down, taking the field goal, they go for 7, and they get it. Now Penn State with an opportunity to try to end this one, and that's going to be a fumble, and scooping it up, it's going to be a scoop and score to end the game. You know, there's probably someone out there who like bet some sort of spread and is probably flipping their crap right now over how that one turned out, because you know, a number of bets will be lost because of stuff like that. But we are here in the national championship, and Alabama has another chance to break the heart of USF. USF fumbles the football. Alabama has it now in great field position, chance to take a 2-score lead, and they throw a dangerous interception, and that is an incredibly stupid play. USF has it with an opportunity to get revenge. This team took out USF previously in the playoffs, and now in the national championship, an opportunity to get redemption. They punt the football away. They trust their defense. 3rd down and 12, throwing, caught but not the first. It's going to be a punt, and the punt is a great one. They're going to have to go 97 yards to tie this game. 2 minutes to play now, 1st down and 10, and he's going to try to run, and he's got speed, he's got space, and he's going to slide down after a big gain, and they are close to midfield, now past it. 4th down and 5, trying to keep this game alive, and it's intercepted, and not again. These USF Bulls can't escape Alabama, and it's going to be an Alabama national championship, and that's going to be twice USF goes down. But to my surprise so far, USF has been the top dogs of this conference, this state. I didn't expect USF to come out here out the gates doing what they're doing. I didn't expect a team called the Stetson Hatters to potentially compete for a conference championship in a couple of years. Florida State still kind of stinks. Miami and Florida are kind of on the back burner right now, and the other schools aren't really doing a whole lot of much of anything at this point. You know, when it comes to replacing the FCS schools with, you know, proper schools, I always, with the, you know, team builders, import them over some random 1-star school, because when you import a school in, they kind of get all like the pitches and everything, and I don't want these FCS schools to come in. One of my go-to teams, I always replace like New Mexico State or whatever. Like everyone has that school they go to. I replace them with like New Mexico State, teams like that, where it's just like 1.5-star schools. And Stetson, I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who they got down there at their school. I don't know if Florida's just that overpowered to where they're over here getting great recruits. But look at this, man. They got themselves a 5-star quarterback and Doug Sazzenbacher, and he looks like he could be a lot of fun. I don't know who the recruiter is. I don't know if it's just conference prestige and the state of Florida is just that overpowered. But my goodness, they out here got a 5-star quarterback, and this program's already looking like they could be a contender pretty soon. And as we take a look at the next season results, there they are. Miami, Stetson, and a couple of other schools are out here competing, but Miami and Stetson are the top dogs for this year. We got Florida International getting into the ranked mix too, so pretty cool to see there as well. A second straight conference championship appearance for Stetson. This time they got Miami on the road. They are up by 3 here in the fourth quarter, and Miami in a position to try to tie this game up. They are already in field goal range. Fourth quarter, just a couple of minutes to play. Throwing outside, that's going to be caught for a first down. And inside the 20-yard line, they are in the red zone. 2:45 to play, third down and 11 now. And they will hand it off. Questionable and conservative call here by Miami, but they will just settle for the field goal. And it'll be up to Stetson's offense to try and do their triple option magic to try to get something going. Third down, and they are going to run backwards, and you can't just keep running backwards. It's going to be a sack, and now second down and 1 after the punt. It was a very short punt throwing outside. That's going to be caught, and now Miami in position to get a game-winning field goal. Minute 20 to play. It's going to be third down toss, and that's going to be blown up, and Miami's going to get another field goal out of it. And now Stetson's really going to have to step things up on offense. A triple option offense isn't conducive to these types of situations, and especially when your quarterback's holding the ball forever. I don't know if just no one's getting open or he just won't throw it, and he is running around, and he's almost going to get a safety. It's fourth down and 27. Hurrying back to the line, game on the line, last chance, and he's gonna get sacked again. And it's just sack after sack after sack. Miami is going to take the conference home, and they will be going back to the playoffs, but Stetson is gonna barely sneak in themselves, and it doesn't matter. They get shut out by Wisconsin. It wasn't even a close one. It was just a 21-0. I think you might need to move off from that triple option offense. I don't know if you're going to be able to win, big time games with that, but here we are with USC throwing a big time play and a big time touchdown, and that's going to be a lead for USC. The first play we hop in and see is a long touchdown. Now Miami's got to do something, and they throw an interception, and USC has the football, has it with little time to go, and has a lead. They can get a field goal, but a touchdown might put this one away. Third down, they're just going to throw the check down, and a massive open field tackle will set up the field goal try. The kick is gonna be good. Miami will be left with little time to play. It's gonna be third down, threatening to go 4 and out to lose this game, but they're gonna throw one down the right side, and that's gonna be caught, and he is sprinting by everyone, and he is going to go all the way for the touchdown, and that is elite speed on display. Tie game. USC now 38-38, and they get sacked on third down. They're gonna let the clock tick down, punt it away, and with 17 seconds to play, Miami staying aggressive, and when you play aggressive like that, you're gonna get yourself into field goal range, and it took a one play to do it, and the kick is good, and Miami out of nowhere strikes, and with 17 seconds to play, they only needed 5 to get into field goal range, and now the Devil of Alabama is back to haunt these Florida teams, and Miami be the one to overcome them, or is Alabama going to come out here and do it again and just prevent one of these teams from going all the way? And it's looking like it, an interception, down by 7. They were able to get the 38-38 tie last time, but not this time. Alabama does it again, and these guys just can't go away. We had some bowl victories, but that is already 3 playoff runs, including a national championship, ended and prevented due to Alabama and the fact that they are just a stacked team forever, and they're always going to be in contention. That is unfortunate, but we got to get one of these teams out here beating them. So as you take a peek at what players are going to the NFL, who's getting represented in the NFL, and what these upcoming recruiting classes are going to look like, I will let you guys know that I do want to use the community tab a little bit more on my channel, so you guys can vote on what the next video is going to be. So I would hope that you guys, any of the subscribers and people who support the channel, can kind of pay attention to that. I want to let you guys try to vote on what the next big video, because these are time consuming, so I want it to be a video that you guys actually want to see. And as we look ahead to this season, Florida A&M, they have quite literally done nothing so far, but they come out here and have have a good season. They're in the conference championship. They're down by 3 on Miami. They're going to get a stop. And can Florida A&M, a one-star school who's not even, I don't think, had a winning season so far in this video, come out here and punch their ticket to a playoff appearance? This would certainly be a shocker. They're down by 3 with a first down, and they are coming down to the end here with a field goal try, and their opportunity to get this to overtime is good. We're going to OT, and Florida A&M has the football to start. This would be probably a biggest stunner we'll have all video, as it's going to be a catch inside the 5-yard line. A&M got a man in motion. It's going to be a touch pass, and he's going to go for the end zone, and he fumbles the football, and it's going to be picked up by A&M, and that's a touchdown. They recovered their own fumble, and now Miami's got it. Can they get it into the end zone here underneath? That's going to be caught inside the 10, goal to go. And Miami trying to avoid what would be a pretty crazy loss here and punctuate a spectacular season for A&M. They get into the end zone though, and it's going to be 41-41. Overtime number 2 is underway. Miami got it. Screen pass is going to set up 4th down, and they are going to try the field goal. The kick is hitting the post, and it's no good. Miami missed it, and now Florida A&M sends the field goal unit out there, and the kick is good. Florida A&M has won the conference. I don't know what's going on here. I think everyone's got a chance in this conference. I feels like Stetson has made it a couple of years. Florida A&M, they're now going to the playoffs. They still barely got in. The conference was just having a down year. They get stomped out by Georgia. It was one of those games where Florida A&M put up a touchdown late, but Georgia had a 2-3 score lead throughout it. But I'm still shocked here. Florida A&M, maybe they could build off this. I mean, Stetson has already built off their playoff appearances and gotten themselves like a 5-star quarterback and some nice players. Maybe Florida A&M can build up themselves and get themselves into the mix, and we can have a bunch of Florida schools just doing their thing, because now we're at the point where almost all of them can be competent. I mean, Florida Atlantic, you know, they haven't done much. Florida International had a season where they were ranked, though. Bethune-Cookman's done a whole bunch of nothing. They just had a player drafted, though, which is cool for them. Florida State has actually been like one of the worst teams so far, which is funny. Florida A&M, not a great class, but Stetson, a good class. Florida State, not even in the top 100 for classes now. That is just ridiculous. Occasionally, I do like to showcase a fun player that you find on these teams. You know, I don't want to just showcase like everyone's greatest players, but this player seemed really interesting, a really fun receiver, and you're going to see with how he's utilized through this triple option offense, he is pretty ridiculous. And, you know, Stetson's going to be out here in the conference championship once again. Their team is pretty stacked by now, and they're having a fullback dive, getting themselves 10 yards. They are down by 4. They have not been able to pull off their big signature victory yet. They've made it to the conference championship. They've made it to the playoffs, but they haven't gotten the big victory. And now they're trying to get it against Florida. This is basically our only chance at a playoff team, because Florida, if they win, they're not even a ranked school. Stetson's trying to punch their ticket to the playoffs and be our representative. They don't get it on 4th down because they still insist on running fullback dives here in the year like 2030. I don't know what they're doing. They're going to get a stop, though, and Stetson's going to get the football back. They're going to hand it off to the fullback, and he's going to rumble ahead past the 40-yard line and to the 45 now at the 41-yard line of the enemy territory. 3rd down and 5, throwing. That's going to be caught, and it's going to be a first down. Now inside the 20-yard line, they're going to throw once more. Stetson, end zone. That's going to be caught for the touchdown, and they got the lead. The Hatters got the lead, and it's going to be Florida in an opportunity to try to get this field goal drive, and that's going to be a big-time catch, getting close to midfield. Timeout burned. They need to get this into field goal range to force overtime, and they're got it in there in 2 plays. Now they're maybe thinking, can they get the touchdown here? They've already gotten 2 big plays. They're going to run the football, though. Very conservative, maybe trying to settle for overtime, and they will. They don't want to risk it with no timeouts. We're going to OT, and it's going to be Florida football first. Handoff and fumble, and they fumbled it, and Stetson picks it up. 3rd down now, Stetson. They could just settle for the field goal, but they're going to check it down, and it's going to be a juke move touchdown for that star wide receiver who lined up as a wing back. caught the dump off, made everybody miss, and got the touchdown, and Stetson finally wins the conference, and they're going to the playoffs in a big-time victory here. And not only that, that 5-star quarterback that we took a peek at earlier, he won Heisman. I know those statistics don't look crazy, but he added, you know, about 800 yards and 11 touchdowns on top of that. Yeah, you could see the wide receiver there. He had 700 rushing yards and double-digit touchdowns at wide receiver. He is a ridiculous player, and this offense is unbelievably stupid but fun at the same time. Yeah, but they're going to the playoffs with a first-round bye, so we're rooting for them. And thankfully, they do come through for us in the first playoff game that they had. They are into the semifinals after a first-round bye and a victory, and they are taking on Oregon, one of the other toughest teams to take on. And on third down, they get sacked, and now it's fourth down. They only have 9 points on the board, 2 minutes to play. Big fourth down try, throwing it down the left side of the field. They got a man, and they got a touchdown. And Stetson takes the lead by 1. It is 15-16, and with a minute to play, Oregon needing to do something here. They get sacked on third down. It is fourth and long. Can they respond in the same way Stetson did? Dropping to throw, outside, caught, first down past midfield, 43-yard line. They are throwing once more, clean pocket, lots of time, no pressure getting in, and eventually someone gets open, breaking a tackle, and inside the 15-yard line, and the field goal, they are just going to settle for it after a couple of incompletions. And it's going to be Stetson now, down by 2, 18-16, and they throw a pick, and it's going to be a pick 6, and that's going to be game. It seems like quarterbacks of these little hitch routes are the worst enemy, worst nightmare for these players. And speaking of players that are a nightmare, I mean, look at this wide receiver, man. I wanted to show you him earlier. Look at his full body of work. I don't even know what position you play him in the NFL. Wide receiver, running back. Is he Debo? Is he Rashee Rice? Is he just a wide receiver? Do you play him in the backfield? I don't know, but I want him on my team. He seems like a lot of fun to use in the NFL, but as you could take a look at the bowl results, Stetson has really kind of established themselves as potentially like the winners so far. I mean, if you're giving out the awards so far, none of these teams have won a national championship. USF has been to one. Stetson perennially in the conference championship. I mean, look at the recruiting class that they just put up. Going into next season, it's a down year, and Stetson's the only team with any sort of hope of winning a conference championship and a national title. Stetson takes care of business. It's just a really weak year for this conference, though. They have another first-round bye, and they will be taking on Oregon once again. This time, though, it just wasn't a close one. This is one of those games where, you know, 11-point game, but, you know, Stetson got a garbage time touchdown. Their offense just hasn't been able to get it done in these big games where they have to put up a lot of points. This team has struggled to put up 30-plus points consistently. And I think that does constitute to the fact that they are running this triple option offense, and they do need to get better at that. I mean, it'd be really interesting if they try and kind of had all these 5-star players, 4-star players, and you put a spread offense around these guys or put a traditional offense. But we are here in the next conference championship. It is Stetson and Miami in a big-time showdown. It is 17-13, and Miami is trying to grind out the clock here. Stetson just got a touchdown to pull within 1 score, and they're going to be thrown right back into a 2-score deficit, and Miami daggers them, and Miami wins the conference this year, and we have 2 teams in the playoffs. Stetson still managed to make it, though, at least. They may have lost in the conference championship, but they take care of business. A 35-10 halftime lead carries them to a big-time victory, but they do get blown out in the next round. It just kind of feels like either they blow a team out, they get blown out, everything's firing, or everything's just failing. Miami, they get the job done over TCU in a big 28-point victory, but now we have Oregon back once again, the 3rd straight year where we are running into Oregon. This time it's Miami's turn to try to take them on, and we'll see if Oregon can do what Alabama has done and just wreck the dreams of all of our schools. Miami up by 3, but they're throwing an interception here. Few minutes to play, and Oregon now has the opportunity to do what this team has done to Stetson multiple times already. Miami's been able to put up 30 points, put up the big offense that they needed, unlike Stetson. But can this defense come up with a big stop? They get a first down the read option, and inside the 25-yard line, dropping to throw, and clean pocket throwing. That's going to be caught, and a touchdown for Oregon. And now Miami's got to turn to their offense and hope that they can do something here. Down by 4, they need a touchdown. And stepping up, he fumbles the football. He's going to jump on it, but he can't, and Oregon has it. And now goal to go, handing it off, pounding it in, and Oregon's going to come out here and get the dagger touchdown. Miami scores with 40 seconds to play, can't get the onside kick, and even though it ends in a 3-point game, that fumble costed them the victory. And even though we're getting Stetson, Miami, USF, Florida A&M even one year. I mean, we've had a lot of teams make the playoffs, but we have watched Alabama end 3 playoff runs and Oregon now end 3 playoff runs in a row. It seems like even the best that Florida has to offer just can't beat Oregon or Alabama. We did have the best defensive player in the nation come from Stetson. They are just generating incredible talent, and they have another good class. Florida, I mean, they've been a little underwhelming because they've been up there. And speaking of underwhelming, look at Florida State. Welcome to the video. I mean, we're what, 40 something minutes in, 30 something minutes in? I don't know how long we are into this video, and look who decides to show up. Maybe Florida State is back. They are here up, but Stetson has a big play, and the very rare big play from the Stetson offense has a touchdown, but not very rare of this team to have a low-scoring game. It is 13-10 Florida State trying to come out of nowhere and have a resurgence in the college football world as they are trying to make their claim to be the kings of Florida. Can they do it here as they drop to throw? Lot of time, throwing deep, caught, and inside the 20-yard line, and that's going to seal it. Florida State has won a conference championship as well, and this is going to be Florida State's turn. Can the Seminoles be the ones to bring us a national championship? That'd be pretty interesting, judging by how bad they've played in real life, but I mean, we're a decade plus into the future, so maybe things have changed finally for this Florida State team. Third down in a tight game, tie game, runs out of bounds, concedes possession. It goes to Tennessee. Just about 2.5 minutes to play. Run here is going to be a big gain inside the 40-yard line. They are just about in field goal range now and trying to potentially run clock, get themselves a field goal, and get out here with a victory. They're going to scramble here, and that's an amazing open field tackle to hold them, and they're going to give the Seminoles a chance here. Field goal is good, but Florida State now to send this to overtime needs a field goal. A touchdown can win it. They drop to throw, and they're going to be going over the middle. That's going to be caught first down and to the 45-yard line, hurrying back to the line. Third down and 10 now after a few incompletions. Throwing once more. He's going to roll left, and he's trying to find somebody, but you just got to tuck and run at that point. You got to be a bit more decisive there. He hesitated. Fourth down now. Throwing down the field. That's going to be broken up, and Florida State goes down. Wasn't even to Oregon or Alabama. This time Tennessee takes them out in their first playoff game. But Florida State, I mean, they've entered the chat, it seems like. Now we've had almost every team make the playoffs at least once. Like UCF made it in the first season. Florida A&M had that one year. They've done absolutely nothing since. But I mean, we've only had a few teams not make the playoffs. Florida Atlantic, Florida International, and Bethune-Cookman has been like just probably like the worst team in all of college football throughout the entire time. So that's been interesting to see. Stetson, I mean, what a class they brought in. A couple of 5 stars and a bunch of great players. Bethune-Cookman can't even seem to get out of the top 120. And Florida Atlantic was one of the teams we hadn't seen really break out yet, and here they are. Now it's going to be a Florida Atlantic versus Stetson conference championship. Florida State is also in the mix to potentially make the playoffs, and Florida Atlantic now in another low-scoring game against Stetson. It is 10-6, and tucking, running, and he has the touchdown. Florida Atlantic trying to get their first playoff appearance here and stake their claim as the Kings of Florida. And Stetson now throwing over the middle. That's going to be caught. Can he split the defenders and outrun him? Not quite, but he has a big play inside the 25-yard line. First down and 10, under 2 minutes to play. Dropping to throw, got a lot of time. Someone's got to get open, and he does! Touchdown! And Stetson has the lead. The Owls got to do something here if they're going to have maybe their only opportunity to make a playoff appearance, and they got to have a big play, and they have it. Can he be caught? He's running down 30, 20, tracking him down at the 10, and inside the 5-yard line, he finally gets brought down. That might have helped out Florida Atlantic if they would have run some more time. Play action, thrown back in the end zone, and he takes a shot, but he has it for the touchdown. And now Stetson, they have the opportunity. It's turned into a shootout here in the end of this game, and now running back, they have no one open, and he's sacked. It's 4th down at 27. You probably got a couple plays left, but you need a first down here, and you need a big one. Throwing, he's gonna throw outside. That's going to be caught. And despite getting like 20 plus yards, it's not enough. And Florida Atlantic has made the playoffs, and they've won a conference championship now. And not only that, Florida State's going to get in as well. They could be facing each other. Notre Dame down by 15 minute to play. They get into the end zone with like the last second to play. So it's going to look like a one-score game, but Florida State, I mean, they had this one in the bag, and Notre Dame just barely got in. But it is going to be Florida Atlantic versus Florida State. One of these two teams is guaranteed to go on to the semifinals, and it could be Florida State with a big run and the lead in their possession. 4.5 minutes to play. Handoff now left side. He's got a lane. He's got the edge, and he cuts it upfield, and that's a touchdown. Florida State has a 2-score lead. Atlantic now, do they got a miracle in them? It seems like it's been a miracle season so far, but it's not going to be on this play. 4th down and long, their last opportunity, dropping to throw, and they got a clean pocket, but can they get someone downfield? Eventually the pressure gets in. He's sacked. Florida State takes over, and they're going to punch it in, seal the deal, and Florida State has won a playoff game, and this school might be all the way back. They are taking on Kansas State, an undefeated Kansas State team, in a 6-3 game. We've had a lot more low-scoring ones in this video. Stetson's contributed to that, but Stetson don't have anything to do with this one. A touchdown here for Kansas State. Finally, someone got into the end zone. Now just 2 minutes to play. Does Florida State have something? They got another big run. He gets by, and this running back is just an explosive run machine. And he's at about the 20-yard line. 2-minute warning has hit, and Florida State now. Little pop pass fake, play action as well. Drop in the throw. They got it caught, and he just gets the first down. It's just about goal to go. It'd be hard to get a first down without scoring. Read option. He's got the corner, and it's a touchdown. Florida State now back, and some of these games turn into little shootouts at the end here, and Kansas State now needs something big. Can they keep their undefeated season alive? They got a big play, and the tackle saves a potential touchdown, but they got a big one, and they are set up to potentially maybe get this into overtime, maybe taking a lead with a touchdown here, as they got another big play inside the 25-yard line, and the defenses are falling apart on both sides. Kansas State to throw. A lot of time. Throwing. End zone. And he catches it, but he's down at the 1. Not quite in. But now at the 1-yard line. 1st and goal. Throwing. Back in the end zone. Touchdown Kansas State. And now Florida State needing a response with 45 seconds to play. Throwing. And that's going to be caught. He's got it inside the 30. And he finally gets taken down. They still have a ways to go, though. 25 more yards and under 20 seconds, 3rd down. They got time, but no one's getting open. And a flag on the play for an illegal forward pass. It's going to just be a loss of downs. 4th down, last try. Under 10 seconds to play now. And it's incomplete. And Kansas State continues their undefeated season. And they move on. And not only that, they finish the story with an undefeated year. And that is just going to be unfortunate. I mean, you ran into what seems to be an all-time level college football team to go out there and win all of those games, go undefeated throughout the playoffs. I mean, that's just unfortunate. But Florida State, they're back, and they have another team. We have another one in here to contend with. I mean, almost now every team has had a playoff appearance, has had a big season. I think it's like 8 of the 10 teams have had a big year so far. A lot of success to be had here in this next season, where we had 4 ranked teams, a bunch of teams with 8+ victories. I mean, that is a very top heavy, very talented conference. I think that is definitely going to be, maybe the best combined amount of wins in a conference. But we have 2 teams here. Florida State Conference Championship, 20-20 game, 4 minutes to play, screen pass out, and it's going to be Florida juking out a man, and he's running for the end zone, and he's going to dive and take the hit. He gets in, and that is an incredible screen to take it all the way, and now Florida State needing a big play with 3 minutes to go, and they get through, and they scramble there, getting through the line, getting the first down, 2nd down now, past midfield, dropping to throw, and he's taking a shot left side of the field. That's going to be caught, turning upfield. He's got over 20 yards and now backed up at the 35-yard line. 3rd down and long after a sack. He's going to throw. Now he's going to tuck, maybe run it. He's just not that fast, and he's going to get brought down again 4th and long. Does he got a big play in him, though? Throwing, and it's going to be swatted away. 2-minute warning has hit. Florida trying to run this clock out, but they can't get that final first down they need, and Florida State's going to get another opportunity to try to tie this game, and with a clean pocket, he's got a lot of time, so much time, and he's going to find an open man. I mean, it's impossible to cover for that long, and now on 2nd down and 5, and the pass rush struggling to get in. They can't get in again, and he's eventually going to fire a strike down the seam for a touchdown, and that's just awful pass rush. We're in overtime now. Florida couldn't do anything with the last couple of seconds, and Florida got to tuck and run it, and they got goal to go now. 27-27. Can they get that all-important touchdown here? Rolling left. He can run for it, and he will. He's got it, and now Florida State needs a response here. The pass rush of Florida is looking absolutely tired, but they're going to flush him out here. Now the quarterback's going to run it. He's going to use some speed, though, and he looks a little faster on that play. It's goal to go. Both quarterbacks setting their teams up. 2nd down and goal now. Rolling right. He's going to throw across his body, and he's got the touchdown. It's 34-34 now, Florida State. They got to go 2 in a row, though, and they're going to throw it, and that's going to be caught. It took them just 2 plays, and they got a touchdown again. And now 2-point conversion. You're forced to go for 2 here. And now to make it that 8-point lead, rolling out, throwing, and that's going to be caught. And these teams are just scoring at will on each other now. Florida, can they extend this game a little bit longer? They're going to tuck and run it, and he's got the touchdown, and now they need a 2-point conversion to get it to a shootout. And Florida dropping to throw out of the shotgun, throwing quickly. They got it, and we're headed to triple overtime. 2-point conversions the rest of the way. Florida getting sacked here, and now finally an opportunity to end this game. Florida State just needing the 2-point conversion, and he rolls it into pressure, and now he gets sacked. They're going back and forth. Florida State, now they got it in 4th overtime, trying to get this 2-point conversion, and they got it. Now it's Florida's turn. Can they extend it to a 5th overtime? And Florida running, throwing, and that's intercepted. Just go down and you win the game, but he's going to try to run it back. He wants that insult to injury. He wants to show that Florida State is back, and they're running the state, and he gets tracked right down at the goal line. But it doesn't matter. The game is over, and Florida State wins it. They're going to be going to the playoffs. Florida is as well, so they might get another shot at them. Now Kansas State here, they had an undefeated season. They took out Florida State. Can they take out Florida now, as it's going to be a first-round playoff matchup? 24-24, minute and a half to play. Florida with the football in their possession, trying to get on that game-winning touchdown drive, throwing it deep, and that's going to be caught. He was wide open. Touchdown Gators, and it's going to be 31-24, under a minute to play. 2nd down turns to 3rd down, and 3rd down turns to a big time completion, and that's going to be on the run. Can they catch him? Yes, they can, just barely. And now opportunity to go to overtime once again. Kansas State tucking, running, 1st down, goal to go. Under 30 seconds to play. Can they punch it in? Yes, they can. They got it. And instead of kicking the extra point, they're going for 2. They're going for the win. They're trying to knock out Florida here. Wildcat, and he can't get in. And Kansas State, the Wildcats, try to end the game with the Wildcat, and it backfires, and Florida hangs on in another thrilling game. This team is going crazy here, but now a lot more tame, easier handled victory over Nebraska and Florida State. Now they are comfortably winning against Clemson, trying to seal the deal here if they can win it, and it looks like they're going to. Interception, up by 10, taking the football back. It's going to be Florida versus Florida State, the rematch. Florida State looking to get back and get themselves into a national championship. Florida looking for revenge, as they've been on an awesome run, and this one not nearly as close. It is going to be Florida steamrolling their way to a national championship appearance, and of all the teams, Florida has flown under the radar, kind of underwhelmed, kind of disappointed with the talent that they have, but they find themselves winning in the national championship with the ball, with 2 minutes to play, grinding out a 1st down, and they are so close to finally capturing one for the state. Handoff, cut back, and he's got a big lane, and he is off to the races inside the 10, inside the 5, and taking second down, goal to go at the 2-yard line, looking for the 2-score lead, and Florida's got it. Can they seal the deal on a national title? 2-score lead with a minute to play. Kansas dropping the throw, running around. They can't find anything. Sack. 4th down and 23 now. One more play to stop them and get the national championship, but it's not over quite yet. Big time catch, 1st down, and now got himself the 2nd and goal, 30 seconds to play. And Kentucky rolling right. They flushed him out inside the 10. He's going to keep it alive, and he throws it. He never crossed the line of scrimmage. Now an onside kick to try to get it back, and they can't do it. Florida recovers, and Florida, they are the ones to take the national title home. And judging on how everything had gone in this first decade, I would not have guessed it was going to be Florida. I thought Miami. I thought Stetson. Florida State came back and had a resurgence. USF made a national championship. But Florida is the one who stakes their claim and tries to claim this as their state. And they got it done just in time because we don't got a whole lot of time left here. It took them over a decade. And I was going to get real scared if one of these teams couldn't go out here and win a national championship. Also, Stetson, crazy recruiting class. I mean, they've been the kings of recruiting, at least. USF, they come out here and have a nice bounce back season after years of stinking it up. Florida, they won a national championship, and now they're just a 500 team. USF, it's been a while, but here you are back in the conference championship, down by 7, and now it is an opportunity here in year 14 to see another team maybe punch their ticket to the playoffs, get themselves a national championship, but a fumble here is going to cost them the game, it looks like, and Miami takes the football, they take the victory, and Miami's got another conference championship to their resume to add on. And despite not making the conference championship, Stetson, they snuck their way into the playoffs, and you know, they did already get beaten down by UCLA one time. Well, make it twice. Stetson goes down. They've kind of trailed downward a little bit in terms of being a total contender, but they've still won like 9-10 games a year. Miami up on Georgia here, fumble on the play. Georgia scoops it up, they retain possession, but Miami close to beating Georgia. Can they hang on? Georgia throwing, and that's going to be caught. 1st down. The game is still alive. Under a minute to play. Georgia inside the red zone, throwing, and it's going to be another sack here, and the defense coming up with a big sack. 3rd down and long, clean pocket, and he's got to find somebody. No one's getting open. He's going to run it, and he slides down. Clock is still running. Georgia now 4th down, last opportunity. Now he's going to roll left. He's going to run for it, and he's trying to extend the play, but he's just going to take off, and he's got the marker. They don't give it to him, and that was so close. I thought he got it, but they didn't give it to him. Miami moves on, and against Tennessee, not so much of an exciting story. Tennessee, I mean, Miami pulled it close, but you seen the score at one point was like 53-30. I mean, Miami got some touchdowns at the end there to kind of make it look closer. It wasn't to be, and we are on to our final season. Will Florida be the only ones to capture the national championship? Will they maybe even capture 2? We have a couple more players drafted into the NFL. It's been a lot of NFL talent sent in. I mean, even though this recruiting class isn't going to find their way onto the field for the most part, I mean, Stetson's going to maybe run away with the recruiting victory. Florida is back, and Florida looks to potentially be our best chance, and they could go out here, win another one. They put up 59 on Miami, and they're going to be the only representatives in the playoffs in this final season. Florida was already the only team to capture the national championship to begin with, but can they cement themselves as the true winners of Florida? I think 2 national championships guarantees that, even if they weren't the best throughout the first decade. If you get 2 and no one else gets any, I think that's pretty clear cut. But they are down by 9 points, 2-score game. Got a big play into enemy territory, but they are really fighting against the clock right now. And rolling out, throwing, swatted down, 4th down now. And game on the line here. They can't even kick a field goal to make this a 1-score game. They have to go for it, and they don't get it. And Wisconsin's going to come out with the victory. Florida goes down. And that is going to be the end of this experiment, which means we move on to the final section of this video. We get to tally all the results, the final statistics, what all these teams were able to accomplish in these 15 years, and we get to determine who were the real kings and who were the winners of this challenge, and we get into all of that right now. So we are on to the final tally, the final results, and I split these teams up into 3 tiers. I mean, really, Bethune-Cookman, you really could have put in a tier of their own, tier 4, tier 5. You could have put them as low as it got because they were maybe the worst team we have had in any of these types of videos. A total record of 45 wins, 135 losses, no winning seasons, not even a single bowl appearance. They were horrendous. Only one player even got drafted. Bad classes. They were awful. The other 3 teams, though, which are kind of really the tier 3, but Bethune-Cookman, we'll put them in tier 4, really. The only other school to not make a playoff appearance was Florida International. Even though they had more wins than UCF and Florida A&M, both of those schools had one-off playoff appearances, got bounced pretty quickly. But Florida International had that one season where they were top 20. They were the best of the worst, I guess I'd say, but not much in the NFL talent department. UCF, really underwhelming. I mean, they've been a school that's been pretty good in real life. They just didn't do much. They had a better recruiting class than all these other schools, sent some players to the NFL, and they made the playoffs in the first year, got blown out, and then they were gone. Florida A&M, that one year where they just won the conference and made the playoffs was so random because they never did anything again. They only ever made one other bowl game. They just never did anything. They had one other winning season. So the fact that they just had one random year of winning the conference and making the playoffs is pretty crazy. But overall, I mean, obviously Bethune-Cookman's the worst. You could argue where spots 9, 8, and 7 are, but these were the worst teams. Then we got tier 2, which were the confusing / the mid-tier of teams. It's just 2, Florida State and Florida Atlantic, both of them pretty equal records, 108, 107 wins. Florida State was so wild because they were bad for a decade. They were looking like how they're trending in real life. They were doing really just rough. They'd make bowl games. I mean, you can look at their bowl record in non-playoff bowl games. They went 5-0, pretty good. Then they just randomly blew up and had 3 straight 12-win seasons and made the playoffs 3 straight years and had a really good run. But that was just about it. So I can't put them in the top tier because it was only a short amount of greatness, but they were good for a couple of years, put NFL talent out there, had good recruiting classes. Overall, though, they were pretty underwhelming because for the first decade, they didn't do much. And then Florida Atlantic was a slow burn, steady climb. They were really consistently good. They had a couple of bad years, but then they basically just were winning 7, 8 games every year. We're getting in bowl games. I mean, out of 15 seasons, they made 12 bowl games and then a playoff. So they rarely ever had losing seasons. That's pretty impressive. Not as much in terms of recruiting talent. They made the most of what they had some bowl wins, made a playoff appearance, got into a conference championship appearance. They were pretty good relative to the talent they had. So a very nice trending upward tier 2 team. But then we got tier 1, and I think the battle for who was the best comes down to these 4 teams. Miami was the consistent, the constant, the reliable team. They made a bowl game or a playoff appearance every single season. They won 4 playoff games. They never made it over the hump, but they were consistently good. On average, I mean, 15 seasons, 151 wins. That's 10 wins a season. They have the most, talented in terms of overall 4-star recruits. Had 5 conference championships, which was the most. They had the most success in overall consistency sustained throughout the 15 years, but they didn't quite hit the highs of other teams. Stetson, for example, 19 5-stars. They went nuts in the recruiting. They had some really interesting years, won 132 games, made the playoffs 5 times, didn't have nearly as much playoff success, 2 conference championships, but the peaks of them were great. They had a lot of first-round talents. The best players that we found went to Stetson. They had really high-end talent. And then you move down, Florida, for the first decade, wasn't going to be in this conversation. They were permanently a 8-win team. They were closer to Florida Atlantic, just a bunch of 8-win seasons, some bowl victories. I mean, their bowl record's really good, but conference championships, 1 in 7. They were in the conference championship a lot. They just couldn't win it. They made the playoffs that one time, and they went all the way. They made a playoff appearance in the final season, kind of got stomped out, but they only made 2 playoffs. But one of them, they went on a run, and they had the only national championship. Also, they had the best recruiting talent overall when it came to their overall class ranking on average. Stetson, had a couple of years where they kind of got knocked down because of the start, where they had like 100 ranked class and they had a couple of bad classes. Miami was right behind them, but Florida, I don't know what to say about Florida because they're worse than the other three teams here, but they got the national championship. So it's hard to know, are they the best because they got the national championship, or do we prefer what the other teams were able to do? Because then you go to USF, who started really hot. The first half of this, they were looking like the winners. They made a national championship, 4 playoff appearances. I mean, overall, they ended up with the most bowl victories. They went 9-3 in regular bowl games. They had the most first-round picks, won 3 conference championships. I mean, in that regard, maybe they were the best, but second half of the video, they kind of slowed down and kind of slumped back down to an 8-win, borderline ranked team that was always kind of in the mix but not quite there. So that's your tier 1. I think Miami might be the best, but you could say their playoff success held them back. Every team has their own claim, I think. Every team has an argument. But I want you guys to let me know who you think won, who you think was the best team in Florida throughout this. And that will do it for this video. You guys can let me know who you think won and what you thought of the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, as all that stuff is super helpful and super supportive of the channel. And also check out the community tab that I have on my channel now, where I'm going to be dropping some polls for some videos that you guys, I want your opinions and what you guys want to see, what you want the next project to be, what you want the next video that I sink 20 hours into to be. So until the next video, I will see you guys all in the next one.